Welcome to the Infinite and Beyond the MIT Alumni Show. And of course, we have a special guest with us, another fellow 2010, the co-founder at Sensor Tower, Oliver Ye, is with us. Oliver, how are you?
I'm doing great. What about you, Rob?
It's great, and I mean, of course, we're coming off the MIT 15-year reunion, and that was about, for folks recording, we were about a week and a half ago. We were on site in Boston. What was your most favorite experience about that?
Honestly, just being having a chance to meet up with everyone, reconnecting, and then there's a lot of lost relationships that I was able to rekindle. Some people I haven't talked to in 10 years, and it's nice to say hello and understand what he or she's up to. So it's been an amazing event, just making sure that we are connected to our past.
Yeah, it's something that I mean, I left. I was fired up. I had a ton of energy, and it was great to see a bunch like everyone and meet someone like I haven't met you before, but meet you in person, hear a little bit about your journey, and obviously that's why we're keeping the show going, and hopefully we're going to build together to get some more things going on. Camo and I are talking next week, so we'll make some stuff happen.
Yeah, it's everyone has such amazing stories, and I can't wait to slowly learn about each one.
Absolutely. So Oliver, getting to the story, can you share with us and the rest of our class, like, what have you been up to since we graduated in 2010?
Yeah, so after graduation, I worked at Guild Group and also Appboy, which is now Braze, and you know probably like a couple years in, uh, I actually met, I actually went rock climbing with my coworker, and I actually met my future co-founder, Alex, at it. So that was a pretty big moment. Alex and I kind of just started working after climbing onto some random projects, and that basically became Sensor Tower as it is today.
Amazing. And also, if I remember right, you met your wife rock climbing too, so it's been a fun experience for you.
Yes, yes. I actually re-met my wife Lynn a couple years later, also rock climbing. So a lot of my pivotal life moments have happened at rock climbing. So I'm kind of like, I probably need to long overdue. I need to go back to climbing to see what other things I can jumpstart in my life.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if you still rock climb, but if not, get back in the gym.
Yeah, I have my kids climb, but right now I mostly just watch them climb.
Yeah. So Oliver, can you share with us, like, you've been really growing Sensor Tower for a while, and I mean, some of the clients that you have listed, like Netflix, Meta, Google, Ticketmaster. Can you tell us about your entrepreneurship journey from working with your co-founder as two folks to now being close to 400 folks and with clients that are, you know, big names?
Yeah, so continue my story. Alex and we were working on apps in New York City at the time, some 12, 13 years ago. And we were making an app that tells you when the next train is coming, the PATH train in New York City. And we tried a lot of different things. We tried, telling our friends about it, asking them to tell their friends about it. We tried to advertise on, various ad networks. We tried to do apps to optimization, and like we quickly found that the tools we're making to get our app discovered was actually more valuable than the app itself. Right? We went hard with that idea. Alex and I moved from New York City to San Francisco and did the classic startup thing where we got an apartment and we just worked out of our living room. We found product market fit fairly early. We scaled to about 1.5 million revenue with just only two people, right? And but we quickly discovered the market was like a little bit small. It was basically SEO for apps. So, in the next couple of years, we expanded to just broader mobile analytics. Fast forward a couple years, we in 2020 we did like our first major fundraise. We partnered with private equity, a firm called Riverwood Capital, and then since then, I would say we went a little bit wild on M&A. We acquired some six companies in the last 5 years. Some small two-person startups. Uh, we acquired our biggest competitor at the time. The company was 400 people, and we were 260. So that was quite a story that I don't know if we have time to get into here, but we'll have to talk about it at another place. Uh, yeah, it just basically uh, we're we're currently at about, like you said, 400 people. Our tagline is "We measure the world's digital economy." So you have any, you know, insights that you want to know about, you know, industry, games, brands, financial things that we're able to give you the most up to date market intelligence on the broader ecosystem.
Amazing. I mean, I would like to hear about that story of acquiring your biggest competitor, but like maybe tell me a little bit more of that. And then the other side is like, since you've acquired a number of companies, how is it for you as a leader to sort of bring them into your culture?
Yeah, I would say that's definitely the crux of the whole acquisition. In that it was uh, very hard to bring like two very separate cultures together. And honestly, there was no magic bullet. Uh, we definitely prioritized the center tower culture, and we went through some attrition of people saying, "Hey, this is not for us," and then they kind of went on. But ultimately, we still made the right move in that now it's a very cohesive culture. And we did try to merge the best aspects of the two companies together into what we call a better together story, where like we it's definitely some I would say like the American culture where it's like a melting pot of cultures right now.
Amazing. It's really cool actually, and I like that idea of better together. Um, where do you see your company going in the next, 3 to 5 years?
So I foresee merger M&A as a big part of our future. Uh, our mission is to measure the world's digital economy, and right now, I would say, we have a small fraction of that. We started out doing mobile app revenue, mobile app downloads, active users, and we expanded to advertising. But there's still so much of the digital economy that we're not measuring. And I would say, uh, unlike most companies, like our kind of central thesis is to consolidate and bring together a very fragmented industry, uh, and that's kind of our goals for the next 3 to 5 years.
Amazing. Can like of course you as a leader you've evolved because there's it's a huge difference working as somewhat of an individual contributor when you're two people to now being the co-founder of a 400 person company. Like, can you tell us some of the biggest learnings you've had on that journey?
Yeah, I mean, there are honestly so many learnings. I would go through a couple. I don't know if I can name top three, but I'll try my best. I would
Yeah.
say number one, it's like leadership means scaling yourself. And I'll say the hardest part, and I think I can speak for a lot of leaders out there. The hardest part of what we're doing is to get people to care about the business as much as you do, right? And it's like, and also giving them the space to do even better than you. That I find like, scaling out, I have to constantly fire myself for my current job in order so that I can do like the next job, right? In the beginning, uh, Alex and I, we were doing our own sales. We're going out to customers, talking with them, trying to get product market fit, trying to close a sale. Right. Fast forward a couple years, we hired out a team to be able to do it for us. And the harder parts there was okay, how to train the team, how to have them be able to answer the question, how to have them learn the product so that they're able to answer the questions without you, right? And I would say fast forward another couple of years, we now have a team of sales managers where now it's like, okay, how do you get managers of sales teams to be able to train their team like what you did in your previous job, type of thing. So fast forward another couple of years, it's like another layer of like, now you have managers and managers and managers, and each part, it's a very difficult part, scaling to the next level, getting people to care about as much as you do, getting your managers to care about their direct reports as much as you do, and also all throughout finding the ways to give your employees the space to do it better than you. Right. So one, leadership means scaling yourself. Two, I would say listen to your inner voice. I felt like for a lot of the beginnings of the startup that we were trying to make ourselves into a startup that we are not. Um, it's very common these days to be like, hey, you need to. Part of a growing successful company is that you will raise your seed round, and then your Series A, and then your Series B, and then your Series C, and so on, and then at some point, you IPO. And for us, like, it was a very non-linear journey. Let's say that. Like, we didn't raise it really any money. We kind of jumped to supposedly a Series C investment. And I was joking with the crowd in the reunion, but my mom specifically, actually, made this offhand comment around, "Hey, Oliver, it doesn't seem like you're gonna IPO, but it's okay. I'm so proud of you." Right? Uh, and like we still could at this point, but honestly, it's kind of like it's probably more likely we would acquire public companies and take them private. So like I have like I have always this thought around like, um, you know, hey mom, does it count if we acquire a public company, or does it have to be actually IPO? But back to my original thought that uh, we just grew in a very different way than most other companies. And I find that in the beginning, the more I kind of listen to the wisdom on the street that you need to raise a Series A to be successful, that we wouldn't have been able to be where we are now. We grew mostly through revenue, mostly through our profits, and mostly through M&A. And that's like a story where, it's a very different way of growing a business. And it's something that I, I would say who we are. We're not the flashy, like, let's raise $100 million Series A, Series B, Series C, that type of startup. We're more like, I would say, some people say more boring, kind of more what you would call like uh, well, I can't find the word right now, but just like a smaller business. Like some people, oh, I remember, some people say, hey, it's like a lifestyle business type of thing where you're unable to scale to billions of dollars or something.
I think like this is a great point, right? And I think, I mean, a lot of the founders that I worked with, they have that same, I mean, we all have it, right? Is like, and your mom says that. And for me, my dad had a lot of bearing on expectations. Like when I pivoted from engineering to coaching, he was like, well, you just torched your MIT degree. And I was like, uh, well, no, but also like it's just not. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of folks, it's that expectation that we get as children, and then that's why we get into MIT in the first place. And then it's like, but you're totally right. Is like listening to who you are is going to help you, and not to mention, I mean, for startups right now, like I was listening to Scott Galloway's podcast yesterday, and he was talking about that companies now, it's not that they used to, IPO or the VCs could exit in 6, 7 years, and now it's more like 10 to 12 years. And so just the paradigm is completely different. And so having that adjustment is huge.
Yeah, and it's something, you know, I have thought about this a lot, and I find that for a lot of our peers, that we need to kind of all find the the thing that gets us going. And I would say we all have to run rat races in our life, and at the very least, like run the rat race that you truly enjoy, uh, the journey instead of like, okay, just get to the finish line. Because I feel like for all of us, there is no finish line. There's instead it's like the journey of like, hey, like you know, so many people are like, oh, we need to do an AI startup, we need to do a blockchain startup, a crypto startup, which they're definitely valid. They're great, humongous business there. But I think for a lot of kind of the friends I know, the class, that some people don't want to do crypto, they don't want to do blockchain, they don't want to do AI. And I'm like, follow those passion, follow the thing that really gets you going, as opposed to having to, listen to the common wisdom about like, hey, like, you know, if you're not working on AI, like, you're not working on anything meaningful. And like, I don't think that's the case.
How did you find that for yourself?
I would say for me, I'm just like really interested in kind of like the analytics and data. Like with Sensor Tower right now, we have such fascinating analytics around, how apps are being used. If people use Uber and then Lyft to price compare, or do a lot, most people kind of just stick with one ride sharing, and they're not trying to price match, right? And we have data around how uh, how Gen AI startups are growing right now, ChatGPT versus Gemini, like all those things. And it's really fascinating for us to see real time data around how companies are doing around the world. Because usually you don't know until they do a fundraising announcement, they do uh, kind of press releases, and we're actually good predictors of when people will raise money, when they're successful, because we really see in our data around what apps, what websites, how are people spending their time.
I need. We're gonna have to talk about making investments next time.
Yeah, and finance is actually a big part of our kind of customer base
Yeah,
of financial firms, using our data to make better decisions in their investing strategy. So that's a common use case for us.
yeah. I mean, the one thing, and I know you're gonna agree with this, but the one thing that I've always found, especially like when I was an engineer, was people were like, okay, well, we need data, so we'll put sensors on everything, right? And we'll measure everything. And the problem was there was no insight, it was just data. Now, how do you at Sensor Tower turn the data into insight that folks can use?
Yeah, that's I have a lot to say there, because basically all of the company is about how do you turn like signals around the internet into actionable insights, right? Like there might be a company that's blowing up, and you see it early with a lot of tweets, a lot of uh, kind of social media postings about a particular product, and our job is to figure out from like a lot of public signals, like social media postings, that which signals are real, that hey, this company is actually blowing up because from our data sources it's showing that. And what are some of them that just kind of random noise? It could just be spam. There can be like a bot that's tweeting about a particular product hundreds of times a day, and like we need to know like what's real, what's not. So we have like a lot of very sophisticated data science and machine learning trained on uh, how do you, when there's an anomaly, like a product is blowing up, how do you know if it's real versus it's something that we should actually smooth out, because we don't want to show bad data to our customers. So it's a fascinating problem space of like just the signals that you want is out there, but you have to dig through so much noise, so much bad data to make sure that you're actually giving the right insights to your customers.
100%. So it's funny, right? So there's a lot of times that I'll get approached by some folks who want to, they'll say, like, hey, you can hire me and we'll make your podcast bigger or seem bigger, right?
Yeah.
And we'll get you all these listeners. And they'll get you like 200 5-star reviews in the first month. And if you go on some of the lists, you can see. And it's always funny as someone who pitches myself to go on guest on other ones, when I see shows that are like, 500 reviews and it's all 5 stars, I'm like, that's fake. They don't get that many listeners. And you move on. So yeah, that doesn't really work all the time, right?
Yeah, it's fake reviews, kind of fake ratings, something that we pay a lot of attention to, and we there's no magical algorithm that you can just get rid of it, but there's certainly a lot of different ways where like you said, like if it's too good to be true, then that's probably it.
Yeah. So, Oliver, I mean, part of this show is about bringing folks together in our community and supporting each other. And, what is your biggest goal that you're working on, and how can the other 2010 support you?
Yeah, I would say, professionally, it's to continue building Sensor Tower into a category defining company that reshapes how people understand the digital economy. We have so much more that we need to do, and I'm excited to be working on it with my team. I would say personally, we haven't really gone into that, but I'm a dad with 3 kids, and personally, my goal, I want to be the kind of dad that my kids want to tell stories about. I want to show it for my kids. I want to teach them how to build, how amazing life could be, and also I want to be a better husband, be more present, more patient as we're with my wife as we're navigating parenting, careers, everything in between. Like how do you like kind of keep all the balls juggling in the air at the same time with so many different kind of things going on all throughout the day. Uh, I love to meet other founders, execs, parents, leaders who are doing the same juggle as me and just kind of, exchange notes, learn about how other people are dealing with a lot of the same problems. I'm curious about how other people motivate their teams, how, they set a high bar without burning people out, how they make time for the kids, their family, and at the same time, the company, there's always so many things going on. Love to swap ideas about, companies, building companies, growth tactics, M&A, like anything and everywhere in between kind of thing. And I hope I will have, you know, good brainstorming to be able to bring, and I want to learn from the community too, because I know that our 2010 class, it's full of very amazing people, and we're all doing very interesting, fascinating projects with our lives.
Yeah, our class is phenomenal. Also, we should chat. We'll chat offline about some of those things because I can definitely give you some ideas on that. And for folks out there, if you want to connect with Oliver, of course, you can get him. I've dropped his LinkedIn in the podcast notes, so you can find him there. And then, if you go on to the Infinite website, we won't drop your email in public, but if you go on the Infinite website, you can find his alum.mit.edu email. So you can find him there as well. Now, along that same note, how would you like to support our fellow tens in achieving their goals?
So uh, I would say like if people ever need uh, brainstorming about you know uh, growing a business or parenting, that I wouldn't say like I'm there to mentor you. I'm more there to exchange ideas and learn from you too. I want to be able to, you know, talk about my story and also learn about your story so that we can exchange ideas about how we can grow our careers, our professional lives, and also how we can also, family wise, children, how do you balance everything? I hope that we're able to, exchange a lot of ideas there.
Yeah, there's a everyone's always busy, right? So it's there's a lot to talk about and a lot to figure out. Now,
Yeah,
Oliver,
I guess
yeah,
one more thing. I also, want to like normalize non-linear wins. I want to, hopefully, uh, I want to encourage people to follow a path that actually energizes them. Uh, kind of along that aspect too, as opposed to like, hey, everyone just running the same rat race type of thing.
that's it's kind of been one of the themes of this show actually is has been this non-linearity. Like we had Laura and Lauren on. Like Laura, she quit her job and went sailing for 3 years. We had Lauren on, who's now on I think it's a year and a half or 2 year sabbatical, traveling the world. And then obviously I host the show. And you can see from my wonderful background, I'm not in Edmonton, Canada anymore. Um, but yeah, it's incredible how many folks in our class have taken a jump to do something different. Uh, Just, and then also, even the folks who are on those career paths, like they're really enjoying it. Like one of our guests that will be coming up, Capel, he's been at JP Morgan since he graduated, and the way that he's crafted his career path to fit it to who he is incredible. So you'll hear that in a few weeks.
Yeah, excited to hear that.
Yeah. So Oliver, of course, I have my upcoming book is called Capitalizing on Chaos. It's coming out in the fall. So I have to ask you, how are you navigating the chaos that we're experiencing right now in the world?
I would say I'm just, very heads down, kind of focusing on what we need to do. Fortunately, we're a mostly uh, kind of online company, so a lot of the chaos around the world, the U.S. tariffs, that it's not affecting us as much. And I would say the best way is kind of just focus on the things that you can control, because for the things you cannot control, there's not too much point in overthinking them.
Amazing. That's such great advice for folks out there, of course. So I mentioned I've dropped Oliver's LinkedIn in the podcast notes. And if you want to check out Sensor Tower, it's just sensortower.com. Do you want to give us a quick spiel on Sensor Tower? And if anyone listening, like who would be some clients or customers that would want to hire you?
Yeah, so our tagline, we help measure the world's digital economy. Like, I want to help people understand the digital economy, the way we kind of understand our physical world. We're building a source of truth about how people are spending time, how apps are being used, how money's being spent, and it's just so that business can make a smarter decision in a world that's increasingly becoming digital first. Just if you ever have any questions related to websites, apps, digital economy, any advertisements, that Sensor Tower is a great source of insights for you. And for people listening and who are able to reach out, like we would love to give you free demos, free access type of thing, so that you can better understand what we're doing.
I'm definitely going to hit you up for that, but please delete my my user information. Alrighty, folks. I mean, Oliver, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your journey. There's a ton of incredible insights for folks out there on building a business, on doing things a little bit differently, and then also just leading in this time. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Everybody, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.